Yo guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the NDD Games YouTube channel. Is it too early to talk about the ban list? Might be, but we've got a ban list due in approximately about 6 weeks. Yeah, it's due on January 17th. So about 6 weeks. It's come around sooner than I thought, to be fair. And I think the format's okay at the moment. There are some issues and some cards I want to talk about. Uh, Typically, we sort of get to the 1 month stage and we start to get prediction videos. But I want to do it a little bit earlier because I feel like it's quite interesting to talk about cards that a lot of people have been questioning whether this card should be legal or not. I've been going to quite a few events, so I've been seeing these sort of cards in action. And I just wanted to let you guys know my opinions, some thoughts, some cards that could come off the list. Everything you see on here isn't like my opinion to come off the ban list or go on the ban list. It's just worth a discussion. So we'll get straight into it. If you guys want to check out my socials, they're all below. And if you want to drop me a subscribe as well, that'd be massively appreciated. As well as checking out my Twitch as well, that'd be great. So yeah, straight into it. So first card, Maxi. I think this card can come at 3. No, I'm joking. This card can't come back. It's too insane. It's worth putting on this list because everyone always talks about it. Every ban list, Maxi to 3. Although, I don't think it can come at 3. Like, I doubt myself for a second then. But honestly, this card cannot come back. I think it's more likely to get banned in the OCG than it is for it to come to 3 in the TCG, in my opinion. So yeah, Maxi is not coming back. I think we'll talk about Harp Horror for a second. A lot of people are saying maybe one Harp Horror can come to the TCG. I don't think this is a legit. Like, I loved Orcust. I still do like Orcust. I play it casually now and then, but I don't think Harp Horror can come out to 1. The reason why it enables so much, sort of like a Plan B backup combo for all the other extended decks. Think about it. So everyone's complaining about Verti right now because it's insane Plan B backup plan for like combo decks. Well, Orcus was the same back in the day. If you guys don't remember, people would get hand trapped, negated, interrupted, and they just make a Nightmare Mermaid. Yeah, so if you can get a Harp Horror in the grave with like, what's the card? I forgot the card. But if you can get a Harp Horror in the grave, you can literally just like combo and end on like Galatea within a gate, or have access to Dingirsu, which is an insanely strong card, especially in like Phantom Knights as well, with all the discard fodder. I don't think it's like, maybe one day it'll come back to 1. But I don't think now's the time. Another card we can talk about is Colossus. And this is an interesting one because there is a lot of decks in the format that do add. So I feel like Colossus would be a counter to those decks, but one Colossus does a lot. I think it'd be splashable in a lot of decks, and I don't think you guys like remember 2019 format. This card wasn't like busted because there was so many ways to stop it. Again, this day and age, there's so many cards to stop this, like Dark Ruler, Droplets. You can impin this. Back in the day for Sky Striker, it was just Widow Anchor, stop this. So there are ways to stop a Colossus, but I think for splashability, it does a lot. It does a lot. So I don't think now's the time. Eventually we'll come back to 1, but now's not the time. Heavy Metal Foes Electromight. So we've got a confirmed Pendulum support. So my opinion is, like, I think a lot of people are saying this card come back to 1. Forget all the support. Can this card come back to 1? Guys, this card is insanely strong. It fixes the entire Pendulum sort of strategies with the cost of 1 extra deck slot. It literally has no other cost. Mash 2 Pendulum monsters together. There's so many Pendulum extenders out there. All you need to do is mash 2 of them together for the cost of 1 extra deck slot, no other bricks. It fixes your scales, and it gives you a draw. I think if the draw effect wasn't even the target destroy effect wasn't even like a thing, on its own, just sending a Pendulum from the deck to the extra deck is insane. But the fact that you can like get a draw off it as well while fixing the skills. It's too much. It is insanely strong. Again, there's always a hand trap you can play, like Effect Veiler, Impermanence, ways to stop this card, but I just feel like it's busted. Like, this card's insane. I think it's had its time. Let the new support play out, see how it goes, and then we'll see if like maybe this card can come back. But I think at the moment, nah, no way. This card does too much, way too much. Another card that is on the ban list that could potentially come off is Dynamite Knight. So Draco is currently seeing no play whatsoever. I do like Draco. I think it's quite like a decent budget deck for control players. With like you can add DPE as well, droplets. It does quite a bit. So I think Dynamite Knight would be good for like budget players to pick up like Draco, because you don't have to play an extra deck with this deck. You can literally, it's good for budget players. Yeah, this card is pretty good. So like Dynamite Knight is on the ban list for a reason. Sorry, it's limited for a reason. But yeah, I personally think it can come out to 3, and it wouldn't do a lot of harm. One card that isn't on here that we should talk about is Masterpiece. That card, no, I don't think that card. It's like Dragoon, but better, way better. So, nah. But I think this card can come back to 3, definitely. Danger Nessie, I think this card can come back to 3. Dangers are seeing like no play right now, and the only dangers that are seeing play is like Sushinoko and Jackalope in like Orcust as level 3 extenders. So Nessie's not seeing like any play. Doesn't like massively boost dangers, and I think dangers are past their prime. I think prime dangers was either Dark World, Danger Dark World FDK, or the Danger Thunder Dragon deck. Those decks will never be around. So yeah, there's too many cards that like in his strategies that are banned now. So I think Nessie can go back to 3, and I think I'd be alright with that. The Skull Crobat Joker, I think this card can go back to 3. It's not doing much right now. It's even Pendulums. Another argument for Electromight is so many cards that are getting peeled off the ban list, pendulum wise. I don't think this card can come back to 3. But yeah, the Skull Crobat Joker can come back to 3 in my opinion. It's not doing much. Helps out Pendulum. They need it without Electromight, so yeah, I think this card can come back to 3. Next card is Salamangreat Circle. I think this could potentially come back to 2 or 3. I think 2 would be safer. Then if it sees no play, 3 is fine. Gazelle's at 1. The deck is like underwhelming. It's like a bad, I don't know, it's decks like Tri-Brigade, Soul Soul that are just better mid-range decks to play over this. I don't think the deck's like terrible. It won the Latin America Invitational, so I suppose the deck can do stuff still. Access Code is an extremely splashable card, and it's really good in a strategy. We've also got the Decode Talker Heat Soul, which is coming out, so it could be more support to try and sell that card or set. So yeah, Circle to 3 or 2, I'd be right with that. Next card is Skill Drain. Skill Drain. In the OCG, they have it at 3, and it's doing a lot over there right now. Eldritch is one of the better decks over there. So personally, I don't think this card can come back to 3. But if it did come back to 3, I don't think it would massively change the game. There's too many ways to like deal with back row these days. We've got evenly matched Lightning Storm, Harp's Feather Duster, Cosmics, Galaxy Cyclones, all these cards to get rid of back row. And obviously the effect is that it negates all monsters on the field. So that hinders your strategies where you cannot play monsters with effects. You have to play like sort of blanket big monsters to simplify the game state. So it does hinder your strategy as well. But in strategies like Eldritch, which I think is quite a slower strategy, I don't think it's like a game-breaking mechanic where you can use the trap cards as monsters and recycle them in grave. I don't think it's game-breaking, so it is a slow strategy. So I think Skill Drain at 3 wouldn't break the game, in my opinion. But I can't see it happening. Next card to talk about is Imperial Order. So a lot of people have been calling for this card to get banned. So I've got like a pretty good theory with this. So I don't think this card should be banned. Think of it, right? There's so many insanely strong spell cards in the game. Not just like staples, but also like engine cards, like Bird Call, the Soul Soul cards. There's like, but then we've got Droplets, Lightning Storm, all these insanely strong spell cards. Fusion Destiny as well, the Red Eyes Fusion. That this card is like a one-of card that can sort of counter those insanely strong spell cards. Yes, when it resolves, people are like, "Oh, great, I just got IO'd." Like you feel like you just got sacked. So it's like it's one of those cards where I feel one's fine. If you see it, great. If you don't, then you don't. So yeah, it has its arguments. I like to see what you guys think about this. Personally, that's just my opinion, but I'd be absolutely more than happy to listen to your opinions on this card. But I don't think it should be banned. It could be banned, but I don't think it should be. Next is Cobra Grave. I think I want to talk about this card. Similar to IO, Cobra Grave is one of those cards that offers you a lot offensively and defensively. In my opinion, this card we should expect this card to be banned. I think Cross-Out Designator has been like literally non-existent. Some people are playing it. I think I'd probably play it for like a bigger event, to be honest. If you're playing Soul, it's insane in a mirror match. So I think that's one of those cards where it's only good in sort of certain events with a certain deck. But Cobra Grave is insanely splashable, and it offers you a lot offensively and defensively. When this card was at 3, it was played in every single deck. I believe this card should be played in every single deck. It's just insane. But I think it could potentially be banned to sell Cross-Out Designator even further. So yeah, it's one of those. Next card is Eva. So Eva got limited on the next list. People are thinking like, should Drytron just get the axe? In my opinion, no. I don't think it should get the axe. It's seen a lot less play right now. So think of Sword Soul, Xiaofeng. That card does a lot, specifically against lights, and that's why I think Drytron sort of fell off the map a bit. So this card at 1 is like absolutely fine. Next is Artifact Scythe. So this is a card that I think should be banned. Going up and down regionals events last couple of weeks, having this card in the format, it's like with DPE as well. I think it's a lot. A blanket effect to like shut out the extra deck for a whole turn, just shuts down a lot of strategies, like insane amount of strategies. So I think this card has had its time. Interestingly enough, though, it has had a reprint is getting a reprint in the OCG structure deck, Fallen Albaz structure deck. We'll be getting this in February. So whether we'll see this card get reprinted or not, it'll obviously tell us whether this card's getting banned. In my opinion, Scythe should be banned. The card's insane. Like, it's actually nuts. And with DP as well, it does too much. It does way too much. Even for like a brick, you destroy it now. We're like, okay, cool, I'll just pop it off DP and resolve it on your turn. Yeah, nah. This card needs to be banned. Mystic Mine. I think Mystic Mine has had its time, personally. I think it's just an absurd card. A lot of people are just getting game 1 Mystic Mine and just scooping. You could argue that people aren't playing out to this card correctly. Like, you should be playing at least 1 out. Maybe that's where Imperial Order shouldn't be banned as well. That's an argument that it's a card that can turn off Mystic Mine, but I think having Imperial Order does a lot more than turn off mine. Mystic Mine, yeah, I think in my opinion, it's had its time. I think limiting this card to 1 would make a lot of sense. But yeah, 3's a lot in the format, and it's searchable. You got a terraforming, set rotation, metaverse. There's so many ways to like search this card now. I think it's had its time at 3. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Another card I want to talk about is Protos. So I think Protos is an absurdly toxic card. Like, the fact that it's now searchable makes this card like absurdly strong. It shuts off a lot of decks, but I don't think it's bannable yet. I think it will be bannable in about 6 months, but I don't think it's bannable yet. I think we'll have this card in the format for a while, so you guys just get used to it. It's difficult to like shut it down because if you go Xiaofeng, you can't affect Vila or Nibiru, so you have to have like an Imperm. I think Imperm's like the only way to stop this card. if you have Shadow Fang. So it says a lot. But I don't think this card will be banned yet. I think it'll be around for like 6 months and then get the ban. That's my opinion. But like I said, let me know your guys' opinions, and we'll see what happens, I suppose. Antispell Fragrance. So a card that is being teched in a side deck for a lot of decks right now. It does a lot. Say instead of like obviously you have Imperial Order, which is way better than Antispell, but it does the same thing. So I think it does hinder your like strategy in terms of like grind game. But again, you can just do all your plays, set your board up, anti-spell, stand by phase, activate it. It could turn off 80-60% of your opponent's hand. So maybe this card to 1, limit this card. I'm not too sure. Let me know what you guys think. I thought it'd be worth mentioning because it's been around for a while and it does a lot. This card does a lot. Like if you see it, most likely you're turning off a lot of your opponent's hand. And there's ways to like in Sword Soul to play the blackout. They set the spells, you black out, like pop the spells while they're set. So yeah, this card does a lot. Next cards I want to talk about is Zeus, Verte, and Dragoon. So we'll start with Zeus. So this is like a card that I think is not bad design, but it does hinder the fact that if we ever get any sort of good XYZ deck, obviously we've got Lyricless right now. Lyricless has existed for like a couple of months anyway, or like over a year now. So, but in like going in the future, if they were to bring out like an XYZ deck, this card would like be absurd for a long time. I think it's going to see its day where it just gets the axe. Maybe it's now. I don't know. Like the fact that you can still make a 4 or 6 material Zeus is like insane. Fair enough, when it first came out, everyone was playing like Zodiac Engine, Pure Zoo, make like a 6 material Zeus and just pass in and just like wiping the board. It's pretty nuts. But yeah, I think this card will eventually see its time. Whether it's going to be January, the next list, I think is coming in like the next year or so. So I thought it was definitely worth mentioning. Versi Anaconda. This is a tough one. So I don't think, personally, I thought Dragoon was going to be banned, but I think since the reprint in the Brothers of Legend, DPE, Verte, and Dragoon will be legal for the next 6 to 8 months, in my opinion. I don't think they'll be banned anytime soon. I'll be super surprised if Verte gets the axe after a reprint. Same with Dragoon. They could leave it for another format and then start to hit these cards, but I don't think we'll see anything in January. And the fact I've said that quite a few times in this video, it makes me think, like, what are they going to do in January? Like, I would like to see some exciting cards come off the ban list. I don't know, like a Dynamite Knight or Electromight or Colossus. I would like to see some sort of excitement back in the format in terms of older cards coming back in, but I can't see it personally. I don't think it'll happen. I think these cards will be around for a while, but I think Zeus will see its day. Same with these cards. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I know it's a bit early. We've got about 6 weeks left of the format. We've got the remote duel YCS coming up. We've got regionals packed out till like mid-January, I think, or until the next set. So like how it works is we've got regional season 1, which is like October, or the October set till like the January set, or every like 3 months basically. That's a regional season, and then when we get Battle of Chaos, that'll be the new regional season. We'll be at the new regional playmat. Then we get another OTS Championship wave, and then it'll move on to national season. Then we'll be at the second set of the year. So yeah, that's like my opinions. That's how I see things going forward. But you know, let me know you guys' thoughts. I'm always interested to see you guys' opinions on ban lists. And yeah, so appreciate you guys watching. Check me out on my socials below. Check me out on Twitch, and I'll see you guys in the next one.